visit some brother out on my call. This is the moment you're meant to know.
Well, hello there, sunflowers, and how are you guys today? Well, I am here to talk about two music releases that had slipped by my radar a week ago. Last Friday was Offset and Cardi B. Or actually, let me reword it because it was Cardi B first that dropped her song, according to an article that I read, and then it was Offset that dropped his song just a few hours later. And this just happened to happen on June 20th of this year. So because of that, I'm here to talk about it because it's quite suspicious. The couple that is going through a divorce, they just happen to both release music on the same day. Coincidence? I think not. And Mama Crone and I took some time to sit down, listen to the lyrics. Sadly, Cardi B did not have a music video per se for her song. However, she did have a lyric music video, which had some, I guess it was more like a lyric visualizer. That's what they should start calling those. A lyric visualizer. Okay, that's not a tongue twister. So because of that, I was a little bit disappointed about that. However, the apparently the internet has been very divided the last week between apparently it's team Cardi and it's team Offset. So it seems like fans are shall I say before I break it down, it seems like fans are falling more towards Offset's music, saying that it's kind of like an underdog. He just hasn't really gotten the attention like Cardi B has because he really hasn't released music. I mean, Cardi B hasn't released music in a long time either. So they both, as musicians, haven't released songs in a while. But I feel like his music just, I feel like that's where fans are coming from. Offset has kind of been under the radar, and I'm not quite sure if it's just his name is out there, but we know Offset as the Migos, like with the Migos, the set of three. So it's like, what about Offset? And we had Takeoff, who sadly took off. I'm sorry, that was a joke I just had to make. And I'm forgetting the other one. Oh my god. Offset members. This is a shame. This is 100% a shame. Migos. Quavo, of course. Quavo. Yeah, so since then, wow, I feel like it's been years. Sadly, rest in peace, Migos. Okay. So since then, we're Cardi B and Offset, as you guys know, they are having a messy divorce at the very moment. And Cardi B's song speaks of it. She sung about how ninjas ain't poop. I'm trying to be PG for the censorship of YouTube. She talked about their low dirty dogs. These ninjas are too easy. Can't wait to meet his mom to tell her she raised a bee. Wow. Wow. We're stripping men of their masculinity now. But hey, I get it. When you're heartbroken, you're upset, you're angry, your love just wasn't accepted. You're going to say a lot of negative and mean things, especially if you was Cardi B when she was talking about how at one point she felt like offing Offset. So we got to think about the anger and the venom that is built up inside of Cardi B. So of course, in true musician fashion, she uses music as a therapy. So she has released a song to get through her feelings of how she's currently feeling, which is going outside, where the men at, where the fine ninjas at. I'm looking for it kind of goes back to DDG talk about being fine shit. So Yeah, she's talking about how she's about to go outside and these ninjas don't like outside. When you go get outside nookie, I don't know what you could call it. So it's because of that. Hey, these are Cardi B's lyrics, but I mean, go check them out for yourself, please. It actually was a quite a good song. Not gonna lie, when me, Mama Crone and I first listened to it, we both enjoyed it. We was just like, oh, okay, this is a good song. Yeah. However, however, that all changed when we listened to Offset's song Bodies, which before I dive into the music video and the lyrics, I just want to say I just love the fact that he gave an ode, a nod to Bodies, ironically by the same title, by Drowning Pool. Thank you. He even put a little sample of it in the chorus. Let the bodies hit the floor. I was like, yes, the rocker in me. Okay. Anyway. I'm sorry. That was that. Yes. Let the bodies hit the floor was the song. Anyway, I digress. It's kind of like, what was it? Like, hey mama, let me whisper in your ear. It was that, but for the like for the subculture that it was for that time. So that's why I was just like, oh my god, I can't believe Offset. Okay, anyway, I digress. I was hype about that amazing. Anyway, so because of that, Offset had dropped a song talking about bodies. Now, I was quite curious what the word bodies could entail. Honestly, I got my little notes right here. So I was quite curious, what does bodies entail? Because ooh, that's a loaded word. It's like it doesn't have it, there's so many bodies, as in, you know, you get in bodies, or bodies like you get in bodies. Like, I'm trying to figure out where we coming with bodies, or are we just saying bodies of like people coming together? Like, there's many ways you can look at bodies, because when we broke down the lyrics, there was a whole lot of symbolism, play on words, slang, or urban slang, pop culture. It was just it was a learning lesson. It was a learning curve. It was fun, actually. I felt like I learned a lot, and I was able to get a better understanding of where Offset was coming from in his music video, which is all about talking. Before I get to that music video, but that song, period, is all about him talking about who he was and how he is basically the GOAT, the greatest of all time. He was just like, I think you guys, you ninjas, forgot who I was. And he was talking about how basically how he was like trapping. I'm trying to quote some of these lyrics. He's such a great lyricist too, on top of that, whether it's rhymes, whether it is having these great metaphors, honestly. Being able to use the same word but in three different connotations, stick, and stick. Oh my god, that was yes. Oh, beautiful craftsmanship. He's like, is he like this generation's Lil Wayne? Like, can we? Because Lil Wayne was a good lyricist too, and a good flow at that too. But I digress. So with that, Offset was really just talking about who he is, what he did before he grew up. He was like, let me give you guys a little bit of piece of history of me, just in case y'all forgot who I is or who I was. You know, I had to get a little bit of bonics there. I'm sorry. But he was just like, you know, you guys forgot who the FI is, and I don't know who did that, but that's just what came to my head. But yeah, that's how Offset is honestly making me feel. He's making me feel like feeling like alive, in a sense, in the fact that speaking your truth, being authentic, not sorry, Cardi B, I hate to diss you like this, but she's dissing Offset in his music too. So I guess it's only just, but he isn't coming for Cardi B. Instead, he is talking about himself, self-evaluating himself, maybe using his music instead of as a form of therapy. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Please, artists, keep using your music as therapy. but he's using his music as more of a way to paint his legacy of who Offset is, because we've been so busy thinking of Offset, Cardi B, who is Offset without Cardi B? I mean, we know Offset was, messing around on Cardi B, so that's kind of a weird thing to say. Who would Offset be without Cardi B? And he also had the Migos, but you know how it is. It's kind of like that whole who Jay-Z would have been if he wasn't with Beyonce kind of thing. Like, you kind of get more famous by association. However, he just wanted to talk about himself, and whoever JID or JID was, both fabulous rappers, lyricists, flowists, reminiscists, whatever you want to call it. They had bars on bars on bars. Okay, I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I'm going to listen to both of their songs on repeat. I am so honestly packed on music releases in the last 2 weeks, I'll say, that I think I'm pretty much filled up for June. So please, no other artists will release any other music, because I got at least 6 songs I got to cycle through, and an album, which I'm not sure how many songs I'm going to get off of that album. And it's hard to cycle through 6 songs so I'm gonna need these music releases to stop, because I'm gonna listen to Bodies, and I'm going to listen to Outside. Outside was good. I liked Cardi B's flow. In the beginning, it was, kind of the samey, but once she got like past, I'll say maybe like the second verse, or when she got to the second verse and she like switched up her flow, I was just like, yes, Cardi B, I'm enjoying this. I was like, this I could enjoy, because at first I was like, the second time listen, I was like, okay, I think I'm only feeling the chorus. I think the chorus is only my favorite part. And then by the third time, I was like, okay, I'm enjoying this the more I listen to it. I already loved it. But when you drop 2 songs on the same day, you got to compare. How are you going to pick? It's a declaration. It's low-key a declaration of war without actually saying it's a declaration of war. Like, why would you guys both release a song on the same day, and then both happen to be talking about 2 different things? And it kind of also paints a kind of picture of how each of them are feeling this current situation or going through their divorce. Some people are saying that the divorce of Cardi B has gotten Offset back into his music. So I'm not sure. Maybe this is how the internet is feeling, honestly. But even though fans kind of aren't feeling Cardi B saying that her songs are outdated, that she sings the same old stuff, she needs to be more updated, get more hip. It's like Cardi B has gotten a signature, and that signature hasn't changed. You got to be able to evolve your signature. Like, we're still kind of in like Bodak Yellow. I ain't even gonna lie. We still kind of in those ages of like in the beginning of her career, what made Cardi B Cardi B. I mean, it was kind of giving like WAP too. It didn't talk much about sex, but it just talked about finding, you know what? I don't even think Cardi B was talking about even getting in a relationship in that. I think it was just getting her socks off, honestly, or finding somebody out here in the dating pool, which we know that she did. So with that, I can't really break down a music video for Cardi B. However, I will break down the music video for Bodies. So the first thing that I noticed, which I will put pictures right here of every instance that drew my attention, was the opening scene. Actually, did I break down the lyrics? The lyrics is basically, before I jump into the visuals, because the visuals coincide with the lyrics. So with the lyrics, Offset is talking about, like I said, who he was beforehand, how he was the GOAT. That's really important, because I misinterpret the word GOAT. Not that I didn't know it meant the greatest of all time, but based off of the just pure imagery I saw a completely different picture. And so we broke down the lyrics, and I got to see that it wasn't at all what I saw. I mean, it partially was, but it wasn't like gone whole, we're going down this whole path. No, it was not that. It was like you could see it as we was walking down and be like, oh, remnants. So okay, I could kind of see that. But with Offset's lyrics, it was really, I mean, I think I did break down the lyrics, but it was all about just talking about trapping, getting cheese, getting that money, cooking. Oh my God. The Migos sure did cooking up lean and dope. Singing about trap house. Oh my God, bad and bougie. I just rediscovered that right now, guys. That was an epiphany I just had on camera. So because of that, Chef's Kiss, immaculate. I don't know who came up with this visual, with these lyrics. Offset, just genius. Cardi B, you need to step up a little bit. But in the with the lyrics, it was all about, just like I said, cooking up lean and dope, being in a trap house, getting that money, getting bees, and bees wanted to come to him because he had the money, he had that cheese, and he always carried a Glock with him just in case he needed to create bodies on the floor. So that's the lifestyle he was living, the true G, like they used to do back in the old days, like Snoop Dogg and them. At least that's the way I'm getting it. Still out of my generation. Well, my generation loves that. I kind of miss the 90s hip hop, but that's what he's kind of giving me, even though he was found in the 2008s. So he was, yeah, that's the 2000s, but more close to 2010s, which is where they really had their rise. So because of that, he gave us a refresher, a remembrance of, hey, this is who I was before you guys met me. Don't forget who I am and what I'm capable of. Here's my bars. Here's my flow. Here's my style. Here's the visuals I can create for you in a music video. Look at me as an artist and no longer as Cardi B's husband or ex-husband that's going through this messy divorce. Look at my artistry and look at what I can bring to the table. And you got my attention, Offset. So in the opening credits, we see that there was a cliff, which is very important, but it was a cliff. We're high up in the mountaintops, which actually, now that I think about it, that's a perfect place for a goat to be. So literally, who is the story visualist behind this? This is creative genius right here. I love it when I can break down a music video and keep getting more and more out of it the more I analyze it. This video is keeping me well fed. Okay. Maybe I'm going to have to go back and look at Playboy Cardi's song that low-key gave me the chills and creeps. But we see a cliff with a stormy scene with lightning and clouds. We come through the clouds. That already lets us know that we are very much high up in the air, as if we were flying high like a plane, high as a kite. No, I'm kidding. I mean, maybe, who knows? But so we were up that high. However, this is what really brought my attention to it, because we're so high up in the air. We are the king, the prince of the airwaves. Ooh, yes, that's exactly what that was. Anyway, King of Swords. I'm gonna have to commit that to memory. The King of Swords is the king of the airwaves. I'm sorry. That was just a great visualization, because you know who they say the king of the airwaves is. It could possibly be Baphomet, but Baphomet is technically a goat, and we had a goat in here. But I digress. I'm not saying he's like a Satanist or anything, but we're going to break it down all from here. We have some esoteric. The reason I want to bring this up is because there was some. If you look hard enough and you are familiar and well versed in the occultism culture, you could say, you can start seeing the very subtle symbolism and imagery to occultish things. Like, for example, this gave me the King of Swords vibe in this opening scene. And then shortly after that, so we had air. And what did we immediately get afterwards? Fire. So yeah, the candle represents, and that candle is also very, very, very important too. Everything is just put a pin in everything. I don't just highlight the whole page, highlight the whole book. Your whole book is now a highlighter. But so that represents the candlelight was kind of dim. You know, think about it. It was a candle in a dark lit room. So therefore it was darkness, but then he said, let there be light. Wow. Oh, wow. That's actually kind of spiritual because they was talking about Mother Mary, and that was also spiritual. So he was using biblical references. See all the symbolisms here in the music and the music video. It's like it coincides, and whoever just put this together, I know it's Offset. Who was your visual designer for this? Did you come up with this? Did you see this in your mind and had somebody translate it to you? Because how did somebody listen to your lyrics and come up with this beautiful imagery and quite detailed and intricate symbolism that if you don't look hard enough, you're going to miss it. So, and then the, oh my God, the only element we're missing is water. So the next element we have is earth, which is in this desert on top of the high mountain top, but still it was earth. It was dry. It was barren. It was lacking water. So we're only missing true feminine energy because water is feminine, true, divine, feminine energy. So because of that, those are the elements that I happen to notice that were right off the bat introduced to us. Now, the next thing that I noticed is that on the red carpet, they were alternating colors, black, white, black, white. And that represents duality, the polarities. There's many different layers and elements, especially because it's all about talking about how he is, who he is, how he's become, looking back at his history. So to have that black and white element, it's like a polarity. It's like a mirror. They work together in a tangible dance. So because of that, and they're walking on a red carpet, it's a strip, which red usually symbolizes earth. I recently learned in tarot, but it's like a strip. It is a carved out path. We could talk about that too, how, well, it was the red carpet to symbolize it was a fashion show. I mean, and that the fashion show was fashion showing. I enjoyed it. Everybody looked beautiful. Everybody looked immaculate. They killed it. Skins glistening. I mean, slight, work it. It was great. Thank you, Offsets, for also giving us a great fashion show at the same time. I really wish that was like a line that you had designed because that would have just been perfect. But I get it. If we're going back to the earth and the goat symbolization, yeah, the greatest of all time, meaning that in his respective field, in his respective area, he was the greatest of all time when it came down to them streets, when it came down to trapping, when it came down to cooking up lean and dope. Okay, I'll stop with bad and bougie. But no, that's literally their brand. He's going back to it. He's paying homage to it. So he's paying homage to a whole lot of songs, actually, like saying "Be from the South," Lotto. I mean, come on. He was paying homages to so many people. I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe he said that. So because of that, I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I mean, there was also this picture here too, which I kind of questioned, where I was just like, well, that could kind of look a little bit like, it gave me like Rihanna Umbrella, where at towards the end, it was giving like flashes of symbolism. You quickly saw this picture where it kind of looked like she was giving like the horns and stuff like that. So here, but this time he's got the horns grabbed. Like, I own this goat. He's like, the goat don't own me. I own it. Showing dominance, showing power, showing revere. And then it was in black and white too. There goes that black and white again, that symbolism. However, the one eye was kind of like faded out and you could see the other eye. So then there was that pair of maybe the like all-seeing eye. Like, I always see what I'm doing. I always got an upper hand because I'm the goat. And I got the goat by the horns, by the reins. So because of that, the next thing that I saw is... Now, there was one woman in particular, as they're walking around, you could see that she's holding a candle, a 3-prong candle. Now, I thought the other 2 people that were standing next to her also had 3 prongs, but they did not. They had 2. 1. So she was the 3 pong candle. Then there were 2 people next to her that each had 1 pong. So altogether, they added up to the number 5. Originally, I had thought they added up to the number 3 because that would have been so perfect, honestly, if all 3 of them all had 3 candles, because that would have been 369, because the way I saw it, and I'm still going to see it even though the 9 doesn't add up, but still candle lights, the overall spiritual tone that we're getting, the inner work that Offset is talking about is very much giving hermit vibes. The guidance, the seeker that is willing to travel paths, that is willing to seek within to get answers, that is willing to you don't know, you're lost, and the hermit is your guidance and you're seeking guidance. So that's what the hermit symbolizes, and that's what this candle lights ultimately symbolizes, that when you're in that darkness, when you're in that reflective period, trying to get an understanding of where to go, how to move, how to express yourself, you go to the hermit, because the hermit is going to guide you, it's going to show you, it's going to lead the way. And then the next thing that I noticed was when JID happened to rap, the very first thing that popped up was, you literally could not miss it, the Grim Reaper. I was getting like Paint the Town Red vibes by Doja Cat. I was like, are you giving homages to other celebrities? I'm like, why is this music video starting to look a little like a copycat? And but I digress. So his verse, like I said, immaculate, good, both great. However, we had opened up the jaws, the mouth of the Grim Reaper, and we happened to go right in. Travis Scott vibes, guys. I mean, Astro World, anybody? I mean, they literally went through the portal in the mouse. But anyway, so because of that, yeah, a lot of symbolism. So we had, once the mouth had opened and we went through the Grim Reaper's mouth, we were met with 2 pillars. Now there was many symbolizations that we could have saw those 2 pillars. The High Priestess, which would have fit. Justice, which in a sense could have fit. The Moon, which definitely would have fit. So those those were our water signs. The High Priestess or the Moon card, if we want some symbolizations of the moon. And I think he said something about howling or animals around then. So I think the key symbolization is that's supposed to symbolically represent the moon, but because the music video is such a deep analysis of inner identity and inner expression, the High Priestess is just as good too, because it's going into inner depths that we are seeing. So our visualization is our water element. What we see is going to invoke emotions within ourselves. And that's the whole piece. The lyrics, the music is all supposed to invoke melody, is invoke frequency, is evoking emotions within us. So therefore, when all the elements come together, we are the missing element that connects the piece of it all together. I'm breaking this down even more as I keep going along. Anyway, I'm hyping my own self up because that's how good it was. I really, really, really wish Cardi B would have had a music video, but it probably wouldn't have been in depth about it as Offsets, because they're just about 2 different totally topics. So because of that, the last thing that I happened to see is that people were falling over the edge. And it's not like they, what's the best way I could put this? The people that were walking off of the ledge were the people that were the fashionistas. That's why I said they are the ones that are kind of like the hive mind, because the fool takes a path, travels down the path, goes off that cliff, and is met with a world that is unfamiliar to them, or that they was not processed or ready for. They had on one suit, had on one set of clothes, and then they go down to a different they kind of drop, or bodies hit the floor. Maybe floor means the physical earth, let the bodies hit the floor, because they were showing people raining down, kind of like fallen angels. So yeah, all those symbolisms here. So I gave that the Fool, because the Fool is somebody who walks off the ledge, not because they know it's a ledge, and not because they know or not if it's dangerous or not. They just trust the process and go with the flow, which is exactly what those people were doing. It's kind of like a hive mentality when you have them all together, because all those fools was on one single line and path together instead of them all taking their individual parts. So because of that, you can see that as a symbolism of hive mentality, of being a cog in a machine, of just being another person that does the same thing that everybody else does, since he's talking about drugs, sex, and money, which is pure rap music, period. But he's doing it from the perspective of, this is who I used to be. Don't forget it. That's basically what he's giving us. So I'm not sure if he's trying to remind us that he can get bees and he got money and and girls are just going to flock to him. Like, I'm not sure but this was just him. The best way I want to say it is him poking out his chest, because he's confident in himself and the legacy that he has built for himself, even if he is kind of an underdog and people don't maybe not talk about his music as much, or he has a million less views than Cardi B and they both dropped the same song on the same day, both dropped music on the same day. So you can even see there that he kind of and that's okay, Offset, you will have your day. Keep making music like that, and you're going to be like another Kendrick Lamar, Lil Wayne, apparently JID, keep it up. You too with that flow. Yes, y'all both spoke bars. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this breakdown. It was a bit lengthy. I did not think I was going to be going that long. However, I did just have a lot to say about the breaking down the visuals and breaking down of the lyrics, and how, well, I didn't really break down the lyrics, but the lyrics gave me a point of reference for the visuals that he put in the music video. Because out of those contexts, like I said, this kind of looks a bit occultish if you really look hard enough at it. However, that's just the beauty and the craftsmanship of Offset. His music was for a certain audience. His music video, I don't know, can you say it was for a certain audience? It was universal. Art is subjective. Oh, that's such a Pisces thing. That's such a water thing. Art is subjective. So therefore, us, the audience, is going to receive the visual representation however we can interpret it. As much as in depth and knowledge that we have, we are going to interpret it the way our eyes and brain interpret the music video. However, if you put it along with the lyrics will paint exactly what the music video is telling you. So because of that, it's just giving a visualization of the power, the depths, the darkness of it all, the heaviness. I mean, he's talking about bodies offing people, blickies, Glocks. I mean, they're not great things. It's promoting, he didn't promote violence, but he suggestively talked about drive-bys. So because of that, that was all a part of that culture. If he was selling drugs, if he was tricking out on the street, I mean, that was all a part of the lifestyle back then. So because of that, he was wrapped up in it, and he's telling his side of the story, just like every rapper does when they get tied up in that world. So because of that, that's what he painted through his lyrics, and through that, his visualization in the music video gave the heaviness, the creative power, the dominance, the I'm on top of the world, I'm the king, I'm head be in charge energy. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this interpretation breakdown. Sorry for holding you guys that long. However, I hope you enjoyed me breaking down Offset. I would have done the same thing for Cardi B if she had released a music video. So with that being said, and I would have talked about her more in depth too, if she had even an ounce of this much depth in her lyrics. I mean, if I break down her lyrics, I'm basically going to be talking trash about Offset. I mean, she said these ninjas, but it just weirdly comes after her divorce. So who is she really talking about? Who are these ninjas that you're talking about? Because clearly you wasn't out there long enough before you got Stephon Diggs to be dealing with ninjas. And we know that you claim you've been loyal to Offset since day one. So you wasn't out there running the streets for like what, 7-10 years in your relationship with Offset. So because of that, she knows from experience, don't trust these ninjas. I know because I've had one, I've dealt with one, I've watched him, I've seen maybe the people he's hung out with, I've heard stories. So she's like, no, she's like, ladies, here's my story. Let me tell you how to deal with these no good ninjas. Just get your own, which I mean, female music is honestly telling you, get that bag, get that money, then leave. I mean, that's the sentiment here. The dating world is treacherous out here, I will say. You got to be really careful out here because you got people that will just use you, try to get you for your money. It's not looking out for your best interests. Or then maybe you could be like going from person to person to person to person. So then you're kind of low key tricking yourself, but you're not getting money out of it. So, it's a lot. It's hard out here for these pimps, apparently. So with that being said, Cardi B, that was Cardi B's sentiment. She was kind of giving like Glorilla vibes, where it's like, where Glorilla was talking about it's 95 degrees. I ain't got no ninja don't got me. That's the sentiment that Cardi B is coming out with. Hot girl summer. I'm going outside where all the fines at. So that's how she is. She's just like, where's my next man? Who can I find the next cutie? So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and now I will officially let you guys go. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. We're really mean a lot to the channel. Please subscribe for the channel. I wish I could say for this kind of content, but hey, if you enjoy this kind of content, leave your comments down below. Maybe I could break down music videos. This is an esoteric channel. You're an esoteric person if you clicked on this channel and stayed this long. So tell me, is there any music videos there you feel like there could be some secret symbolism? Please do let me know and I will check it out. Recent music though that released within the last, I'll say since 2024 to 2025. It's for a new station, so we try to keep it up to date and relevant. So if there's like any music that I don't quite know about, I mean, I try to make an entertainment section every week. If I would have done it last Friday, I would have known about Cardi B and Offset. So yeah, I try to keep up music on this station. Music is a great source of pop culture and a source of connection out here, and I really do love music. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this, and please give this video a thumbs up if you haven't already, and I'll see you sunflowers in the next one. Sunflowers.